Well, welcome everyone to the Master Certificate Lean Six Sigma webinar. And on behalf of the Schulich Executive Education Center, I'd like to thank you for taking the next 30 to 40 minutes, sharing your time with us. We're going to walk you through the program. Michael and I, who's the program director, will be going back and forth on a few different key areas of the program and the value of the program, content of the program, and this is the opportunity for you to explore fit and how it's a fit for you. So what is a master certificate? Master certificate, they've been designed to do fundamentally two really important things for our participants. They really look at growing your career, and they think about your career and how transformative a master certificate can be. And so when we design a program, we always look at it from where you are in your career and where you want to be. And then we think about the skills that you acquire in this program. And that's why we call it leveling up for the future. Programs that are going through some constant iteration around thinking about what are the skills that you need for the future. And Lean Six Sigma clearly there, and I'll defer to Mike throughout this webinar where he'll share specifically where it matters. All right, well, without further delay, I'd like to introduce you to our program director, Michael Ewing.
Great. Thanks, Carlo. Hello, everyone. It's just a pleasure to meet with you virtually today. We look forward to sharing a little bit about the Lean Six Sigma program. The agenda will cover kind of three areas: the introduction, which we're going through right now, a program overview, and we'll leave a little bit of time for Q&A. Of course, this is not kind of a full depth review of the program. Rather, we're going to just pick the key highlights, and as Carlo mentioned, see how it might fit with your career aspirations and the needs of your organization. So go ahead, Carlo.
Absolutely. So we have three instructors in the program. So Michael will be teaching the program. We have Travis and we have Jeff Woods. And when we think about the program, when we assemble the faculty, we assemble faculty who have both the academic experience taught in the business school as well as those who have the experience in the field. And this is an important dynamic that happens. So they are carefully sought out after faculty. And it's one of the things that really is a feather in the cap in terms of being able to deliver the best and the richest experience to you as a participant. So when we think about what is that master certificate, there's a couple of points that we want to really emphasize because that's what we know and have experienced with our alumni. So it truly is a career transforming program. When we reflect back and look at the participants who've taken this program and we look at their career trajectory, there is certainly a correlation between taking this program and the lift in their career. It is a true set of real business knowledge. I talked about this earlier from faculty being from the field. It's important to bring both that business knowledge experience as well as that academic experience. It's an opportunity to develop your expertise, but not just for this role, but for your next role. So we always want to be future focused, future ready. And when we think about the skills that you develop in this program, it's not about necessarily the skills you need for today, it's also the skills you need for your next role. It's a forum to expand your network. Frankly, one of the most important components of this program is the amazing people that you meet and the peers that you work with. And so there's a dynamic that happens. It happens in the classroom, it happens even outside the classroom, where faculty and your peers and yourself just be able to meet, to socialize, to think through some challenges and to think through what is next for you. And then this is a platform for you to grow and grow your potential and soar. So upon registration of this program, the second you register, you are part of a special group. You're part of a special group that really take this forward. We have alumni groups that are still intact from a decade ago. And when you look at everyone's career trajectory and we look at the skills that they've developed along the way and the support that they've reached from each other, some of them have gone and worked with it alongside each other on projects. So there's amazing stories. So we always like to think of our master certificates as a launch pad to bigger and better things. we have examples of that. One example here with Carol Ann Northcutt. So Carol Ann took one of our master's certificate. She is now the Chief Risk Officer of the Bank of Canada. For about 14 years, she worked at the Bank of Canada. And then in 2014, she took our master's certificate, and you can see the clear line of career growth. And now she's officially the Chief Risk Officer of Canada. So these are the great stories that we like to share with participants, because they have such a transformative experience with us.
Thanks, Carlo. So let me get into it a little bit about Lean Six Sigma and kind of just the premise of what it brings to organizations. And if you think of how organizations are currently managed today, traditionally we break them out into departments. So you've got a team, a marketing team, a sales team, an operations department, finance, HR, supply chain, you name it. And there's reason for this. Having departmental organization allows specialization of tasks, easier to manage, and efficiency within the department. However, the challenge is that that's not how, and if you could switch to the next slide, Carlo, that's not how organizations are performed, or organizations deliver their end-to-end processes through these various departments. And the customer will feel the impact of how well or ineffective their end-to-end processes are. And often we've seen the results where marketing, sales, there might be a lack of alignment or between any of the departments. And therefore the quality of the output is determined by that end-to-end integration, good or bad. And so what Lean Six Sigma will, and we can flip to the next slide, we'll try to kind of look at the process as a step-by-step process, understanding what the customer's needs are, measuring those needs and the end-to-end process to align with them, and build processes that consistently meet and exceed those needs. And as a result, the focus will be on eliminating defects, eliminating waste, improving the customer experience. So let's flip to the next slide, Carlo. In a nutshell, you think of Lean Six Sigma, and I'm sure that you've all heard some of this before, and perhaps that's why you have some interest in the program and are attending this webinar. But organizations are facing rising costs. The competitive pressures from other companies that are continually striving to improve their processes and their customer experience. So Lean Six Sigma will help provide a competitive advantage in the following ways. I talked about streamlining processes and improving the customer experience, creating loyalty, developing more efficient process flows that will drive higher bottom line results. And often when we try to strip out waste and inefficiency, we're reducing costs. We look at improving quality through defect detection and prevention, which again reduces costs, removes waste. Often when we look in any organization, whether it's service, manufacturing, you name it, we see rework, errors, redundancy. Those are all considered waste. We want to identify those as defects and improve the process. We're standardizing processes. It will allow organizations to be more nimble and be able to pivot based on the changing behaviors and demands of the customer and the market. And we've seen that in a huge way over the last year and a half with COVID, where organizations have had to completely adjust their business model and pivot accordingly. And Lean Six Sigma will not only help you on the pivot side, but it will help you prepare for any unexpected changes. Of course, increasing capacity and profitability, and often what is really valuable from Lean Six Sigma is engaging employees, improving morale, creating a culture of continuous improvement where every employee has a voice to suggest that there are better ways of doing things, that the way that you're serving your customers is not always the most optimal approach. So increasing profitability, reducing waste, the customer focus, improvements, and continuous learning and developments. Those are some of the key takeaways that I think you'll find very valuable. There's a number of different belt levels associated with Lean Six Sigma. Here they are. It starts at white and progresses to yellow, green, black. Master black belts. Jeff talked about the instructors. They are master black belts. And of course, we've got executive sponsors who are really driving continuous improvement and trying to make it part of the DNA of their culture within their organization. So a white belt really gets a very basic, foundational understanding of Lean Six Sigma concepts. They will be able to understand the terminology. They'll be able to pinpoint and recommend areas that for improvement, and even support any programs, projects that are involved in driving continuous improvement. The yellow belt takes it to a next step, and as we go, I'll talk a little bit about this learning path that has been designed. So we start at a white belt. The white belt is an e-learning. It's equivalent to a one-day program, and it's the beginning. And this course is kind of stackable certificates. So each level takes you one step further. The one previous is a prerequisite to the next. So we start off with a white belt at an e-learning level. The yellow belt is an additional 2 days of instructor-led training, virtually or in person, eventually, hopefully. And this, again, we take the participant to the next level of understanding some basic statistics or some of the more kind of profound tools to help drive problem solving and improvements. And yellow belts can perform on participate in improvement activities. Then we take it to the green belt. It's an additional 5 more days of instruction, instructor-led. Green belts can lead projects on their own. They can participate in larger scope, more complex projects that the black belts are supporting. And the green belt is a popular designation to achieve. Again, stackable certificates, each a prerequisite to the next. We then take it to the black belt in this learning path, and it's 8 more days. And black belts are really considered the most knowledgeable. They're almost experts in their field and understanding the tools, concepts, and principles of Lean Six Sigma. They help train and coach others. They're change leaders, they're problem solvers. They drive a lot of the strategic direction in terms of operational efficiency and change management. And this is what we teach in the program. So, and then if you want to make a career out of Lean Six Sigma and become a consultant and trainer and coach, being able to train other black belts, then you might consider yourself as a master black belt. And as I mentioned, the executive sponsors are driving it from the top. Okay, we can go to the next slide. So I kind of touched on this, but there are 3 aspects, kind of 3 development opportunities for a black belt in the role that they play. And the first being a project leader. The black belt kind of has a full understanding of the Lean Six Sigma body of knowledge. They've been given a very robust training. We focus on a lot of the tools and concepts and principles that cover a wide spectrum of any way to pinpoint where problems are occurring, where there are pain points, and how to make improvements and drive the implementation. Technical problem solvers, following the DMAIC methodology. I talk about tools, methods, and principles. The DMAIC is a method for managing projects for improvement. And then change leaders. Again, the black belts are the ones that are really trying to help organizational buy-in, not only from the top, but driving it up from the bottom as well. And that is one of the most critical elements of ensuring a sustainable, a sticky Lean Six Sigma program is through getting the culture to accept and adopt and embrace and buy into this effort of being more nimble organization. So let's move to the next slide. The learning path I talked about. What I will say that it's unique to Canada. Certainly out of any program that I've seen across Canada, there's no program designed like this, where you can start off and achieve your white belt for those that have, want to dip their toe in the water, so to speak, or those that want to get more involved in projects, or those that want to make their career out of driving operational excellence. The options are there, and you can start at one level and continue on right away, or you can save it for a later time. But it's really a unique way of designing the program. Carlo talked a little bit about the uniqueness of Schulich, and of course the design of the program is unique. What also is unique is the way we teach. So the instructors, Jeff and Travis and others, they are, of course, they've been doing this for a lifetime. They have the scars to show for it, but they come from the industry. And so the way we teach is not only do we help you understand the tools and methods, but we'll give you lots of examples of how it applies in the real world. And we call this experiential learning or applied learning, where we'll give you some theory, but we'll back it up with a lot of exercises, quizzes, games, breakouts, project simulations, and so on. So you can really get an understanding of how to equate a concept into real world problem solving. And that's kind of one of the things that we hear often from our alumni, is how they love the interactive aspect of this program and how it applies to real applications. So I think I pretty much covered some of the key points. We've got a program starting in October. Up until, starting today, in fact, you could register either for the full program, or you could take the white belt. And the white belt is the e-learning portion. For those that want to take yellow, green, and black, you will have to complete the white belt first, and before the October start date of October 15th and 16th for the yellow belt. And then the next program will begin October 28th and 30th, and that's the first portion of the green belt. And then the second session of the green belt is in November. Then we get into the black belt session 1, 2, and 3, that it begins in early December and ends in January, with a bit of a break between the Christmas holidays. So just a quick program at a glance. Of course, we're available to discuss any aspects of this program more deeply with you.
Okay, so the program in the numbers. So what are the key takeaways of this program? So 15 incredible workshops with instructors who have that experience from the field. Each one of these instructors is evaluated at the end of every workshop, and so what that tells us is that we're monitoring the quality of the education that we're offering. And let me tell you a little bit about Jeff and Travis in particular. They score out of a 5, they score routinely about 4.85 on average. So that is an exceptional evaluation. Just to give you an idea, 4 out of 5 would actually be really good. So that's essentially the top faculty that we're working with. It's a 4-month learning journey. So it can take you from October to January. And if you think about it, it's mastery in 15 days and in 4 months. And then there's one real career changing black belt. I'll turn over to a question from Michael. Michael asked, do you have payment terms for this full program? So on the line today, we have Stephanie Courteau. Stephanie is our program education advisor for Lean Six Sigma. So she's a master at it as well. And she can speak to you, Michael, about payment terms. The short answer is yes. Angel does have a question, so thank you for getting to the questions. Is there any expectation that the next session for this program could be at least partially in person? So the short answer to that is it is possible that some sessions may be delivered in person. However, just given the current circumstances, it is likely that they will all be done virtually. There may be some sessions at the back half of this that can be done in person. You would be made aware of that. And of course, it would be something that we would all sort of agree to collectively. Also, Angel has another question. Can I do the course?
I want to just speak to the virtual training for a moment because it is a good question, and I too hope that soon we'll be able to meet you all in person, face to face. But when we first started to shift towards virtual learning, there was some hesitation and reluctance, even from our instructors, on will we be able to deliver as an effective program. And we've done it many times since then. And the response has been overwhelmingly positive. In fact, we've had many who have said, I've been to in-class instructing and this has been better. We just trained a group at Walmart, all virtual. They loved it. They really felt that we didn't miss out on any of the interactive portions. And it was still very intimate in terms of kind of interaction with one another and the instructors and building camaraderie and so on. So I wouldn't worry too much about kind of the effectiveness of delivering virtual learning because we've done it several times now and the response has been amazing. So,
thank you. So one of Angel's second questions is if I can do the course for only black belt if I already have the knowledge to start there.
Yeah, well, so it's possible. And I guess we would treat that as a kind of a one-off. Is it Angel, did you say? I would just contact me directly. I would like to review the training that you've been through. I want to kind of review the agenda, the number of days, the tools and concepts, the course that you were taught, and make sure that if you do enter the black belt, you're not at a disadvantage to be able to pick up from where you left off. And so let's have a one-to-one conversation. Maybe you can share some information with me and I'll make an assessment on whether it will be a seamless transition for you.
Okay, great. So Stephanie will take note of that and she'll connect the two of you, Michael. Angel has another question, actually. Is the certificate for this course equivalent or as valuable as an ASQ or IASCC certification?
Great. Okay. Well, so two things. Number one, this program includes a certificate of training completion. Different than certification. And I think what you're referring to is certification, ASQ certification. If you would like to get certification, we offer that as well. It's an additional fee of $550. There's three criteria. One, you complete the training. Two, you achieve 70% or better on a formal exam. And thirdly, that you demonstrate that you've successfully completed and implemented a sustainable Lean Six Sigma project. And we can kind of help vet the type of project that you're interested in working on, and we'll provide a review at the end. And what it includes is that you'll get your certification, you'll get a plaque, and of course we'll be reviewing your project and providing any guidance or input to ensure that you complete it with success. So how does it compare to ASQ? Very similar. I'm less familiar with ISSC. They're kind of an independent organization that is trying to, I believe, pursue kind of that designation of being the go-to for certification, but ASQ has a much better reputation, and we've followed very similar to ASQ in terms of the same criteria, in terms of completing training, writing an exam, completing a project, and ours is compared quite closely to ASQ. We've certified thousands of people in Canada. We've got a great reputation, and but the option is up to you. If you want to go pursue your certification, the nice thing about this course is it will prepare you to be successful in writing the exam at ASQ as well. I hope that helps.
Okay, and then why a master's certificate? So at the Schulich Executive Education Center. So we do get asked, you know, by some participants who say, look, you know, because the master's certificate is essentially, we liken it to a mini MBA, but here it has a specialization. So it's a very powerful program coming from the #1 business school in the country. We have top students who come to our programs. It's something we're extremely proud of. And so if you're thinking about, you know, completing this program elsewhere, I just ask you to reflect on the power of that master's certificate from the top business school in the country, because this is where we combine our knowledge of business with our knowledge in lean. And that's really what makes it unique. And today there's so much competition in the job market that, you know, just completing the exam or completing an online program and then taking the exam, perhaps it may not be enough. And it's really about what can really help you distinguish yourself. And that's the idea of taking it from a top business school, something we're quite proud of. And then finally, that combination of skill specialization and range. So aside from your career path, your career trajectory, and what this does for you on the career end, there's actually the big takeaway is those skills. And right now, what we're hearing from organizations is we're looking for people who have both the depth, so they have that specialized skill, but they also have range. And this is important. So those are the new skills that you add on. And Michael and his team and the faculty here, really, they built this program based on that idea is what are the skills that we can deepen and what are the skills that we can add to widen the range of our participants. So we'll put this up here. This is for registration. If you take your smartphone and you actually put your camera up against the QR code, you can scan and it'll take you to a link, allows you to register for the program. The program starts in October. We'll answer more of your questions while we leave this up. This is certainly a great opportunity to get a registration in before enrollment fills up. So with that said, I'll leave this up. It's really an opportunity for you to think about leveling up for the future, and we'll go to more questions. So Michael, we do have another question around tools. So what tools do they take away from this program?
Well, I mean, you'll learn a lot of, for the black belts, you'll learn all of the tools, problem solving, root cause analysis, SIPOC, 5S, you name it. You'll have the full depth and breadth of all the Lean Six Sigma tools. As far as takeaways, we provide you with lots of different resources. We'll provide you with all the training materials. We have a package of tools and templates to use while you're solving problems at your own workplace. It also comes with a statistical software. And I should mention that for those of you who might fear kind of the statistical aspects of Lean Six Sigma, fear not. We really help you understand how the software will do the math. We just want you to understand how to interpret the data to be able to solve the problem. So that's really the gist of the statistical parts of the program. But yeah, lots of different resources, and we'll recommend different books for you to read if you're interested. Where you'll probably find that you'll gain the most, Carlo touched on this earlier, is the camaraderie that you'll develop with your fellow students. And we see this all the time where they're sharing some of their successes, some of their challenges, getting advice from others, like-minded people who are all doing the same thing, helping drive operational efficiency and effectiveness. So you'll really gain from that. One of the things that we will be distributing this presentation to you all, and there is an appendix portion that includes some other key points of the program. So, but of course, you're always free to reach out to any one of us for any specific questions. So I hope that helps.
Yeah, Nigel has a question. How much emphasis is put on value stream mapping?
Yeah, well, good question. Value stream mapping is one of the very important tools for Lean. They're in Lean in Six Sigma, they call it process and mapping. And in Lean, it's value stream mapping. We spend a lot of time because, I mean, I on the Lean portions of the program. And what's really important about value stream mapping, it allows you to kind of get a visual of the step-by-step process of any area within your organization, and to be able to determine those steps that don't add value. And the steps that don't add value is considered waste, and that's what we want to move out of the process to improve cycle time, to eliminate redundancies and so on. So yeah, value stream mapping is certainly one of the important parts of the program.
Right. Another question here, what resources are available during the program? So what course materials will they have access to?
Yeah, well, again, it's kind of like my message before. You'll get all the training materials, and to the black belt, it's probably the equivalent of 300 or 400 pages of content. Again, not to scare you, but it's, you know, the program, again, focuses on understanding the concept and the tool and really focusing on how does this apply to the real world. But we'll prepare you as well in case you are interested in writing the exam with all the materials. So the training materials you'll get, there's lots of tools and templates that you'll get. There's exercises that we'll do. There's a little bit of homework that you'll have, nothing too onerous because we recognize that you have other responsibilities in your lives. And so I think that covers it, as well as the software that I mentioned.
Okay, great. And then there's another question here. Who can we reach out to for logistics, payments, or any questions around registration? So on the line here, we have as an attendee is Stephanie Courteau. Stephanie is our senior education advisor. I will actually put her email in the chat for those who, for the individual who asked the question, and then you can reach out, but Stephanie will also be in contact with you. And I've placed her email in the chat. Okay. All right. So we want to thank everyone for their time today. It's 12:36. We really appreciate all the questions and the engagement. We thank you we thank you for your participation. We think this is we know this is an incredible program. We've been running it successfully for a long time. It is I always refer back to the career transformation. I know that just given the pandemic and given what organizations are going through, there certainly is a war on waste. And when you think about the skills that you want to develop, you think about how do you help organizations with that war on waste and develop those efficiencies. So Michael, a special thank you to you for your contributions here, as well as, of course, being the program director. And without, go ahead, Michael.
Just one last comment.
Yeah.
It's a pleasure to have the chance to present to you all. One of the challenges that we in this forum, we don't get a chance to get to know you and learn about your goals and objectives, which is always important to really help you kind of solidify and verify that this program is a good fit. So if you have any interest in contacting me directly and sharing me a little bit about your current role or your career aspirations and to see how this might fit within that, don't hesitate to reach out to me, because we're always interested to understand kind of what your goals are and where you and how this might fit with that.
Yeah.
But thank you.
Thank you. That's absolutely right. I mean, we have a database of alumni who've taken this program, who've shared their testimonials. We know a lot about them, their roles, their career trajectory, and I think that would be a welcome opportunity. So yes, please don't hesitate to reach out to Michael, reach out to Stephanie, who can put you in touch with Michael. And if you have any questions around fit and whether this program is right for you, if you have any questions around logistics, if you can't start in October and you're thinking about, when can I start, then that is a good starting point as a conversation. Thank you, everyone. And that ends our webinar.
Great. Thanks, everyone. Have a great day.